True Stalker. If you haven't heard of it, well, now you will. And if you have heard of it, but you want a nice little review, well, you're in the right place. Hello, my friends. I'm Mr. Dr. Professor Wavy, and today we're reviewing True Stalker. This is technically my first review on the channel, and I'm actually taking this seriously. I have a whole rubric and everything, but instead of yapping for 5 minutes, I'll make it quick. I judge games based on 3 major categories: the aesthetics, the playability, and the content. Don't worry, I'll explain it as we go. All 3 are equally weighted and scored on a funky scale of -3 to 3, with a 0 being a 5 out of 10. But as you can see on the screen here, I'll use the labels mostly, so when I say it's a meh, that means a 5 out of 10. But don't worry, you'll see how it all works. True Stalker is a complete overhaul modification built on the custom Open X-Ray engine. It's expansive, adding in many maps, some of which I've never seen before, and encompassing a whole brand new storyline. It's quite the adventure, and we played the entire thing. But this is the review, so let's get started with our first category, the aesthetics. When I say aesthetics, I'm including most of what is creatively involved with the game. This goes from sound design to map design and coming around with the graphics. And True Stalker is pretty up there. Visually, it's pretty impressive. The textures are nice, the lighting is good, and the UI itself is completely redesigned and much more modern looking. They tried to bring Stalker itself up to the level of more modern games, and I have to say it's done pretty well. A big plus is the adaptation of the Gunslinger mod, which adds so much detail, from tritium sights, lasers, flashlights, and even seeing ammo change inside your magazines. I mean, it's details like this that just come from a labor of love. I mentioned the UI earlier, and while there's plenty to like, there's also things not all that great about it. Nearly every Stalker ever inventory is transparent or only covers a portion of the screen, and here it covers the whole screen, and of course the game continues in the background. Not the best idea, IMO, but not the biggest deal in the world. Map design is nice, giving you a selection of different maps with different environments, and of course, including our usual underground levels. Otherwise, it's your typical Stalker setting. It's tough to beat this kind of atmosphere. And with that, I'll be giving True Stalker a cool, great score for the aesthetics. Our next category is playability, which encompasses the overall performance and experience of playing the game. And the playability is actually not bad for a typical Stalker. Obviously, if I were to score other Stalker games straight up, the consistent crashes, the famous stutters, and many of the bugs, anomalies, would add up to a frustrating experience. But luckily, my time with True Stalker was pretty nice. I think we only had 1 or 2 crashes, which is hardly anything to worry about. And on my spec hardware, which is of course pretty up there, the game ran pretty perfectly. I mean, super duper high frame rates, no stutters, just pure bliss. The one mark I am going to have on the game is back to the UI. Navigating some of the menus really isn't the best. Like, for example, the maps. It took me, half the damn game before I realized I could change the map I'm looking at in the menu. While there's obviously plenty of improvement in the UI, there's still some decisions that I can't exactly say are all that great. Otherwise, I'm scoring the playability an easy, good score. Now we get to the meat of it, the content. For a single-player game like this, the content category is of course going to be heavily focused on the story, but it still encompasses what the game actually has to offer for gameplay. Now, if I said I didn't have fun playing True Stalker, I'd be lying. But if I said I was thrilled with how it all panned out, I'd also be lying. True Stalker rewrites the story with a brand new character, Axe. His true mission in the zone is unknown, and no, I didn't find out what he was really here for, but boy is it his mission to get off to the Wish Granter. You start in Cordon as usual and fight your way through Sidorich missions to find yourself with enough capability to move north. Plenty of scripted encounters will happen throughout your time in True Stalker. It's a lot of the way the mod does its storytelling. And eventually, when we get to the bar, we get introduced to one of the single most annoying components of this mod, scripted knockouts. I shit you not. Axe gets his ass knocked out so much, I'm surprised he still has a functioning brain. I'm genuinely concerned about the concussions he's gonna suffer from. But you know what? I'm more concerned about my temper when it comes to these scenarios. A couple times throughout the playthrough, no big deal, but there were so many I was literally starting to lose my mind towards the end. Losing complete control and having to be forced into scenarios consistently throughout the mod just simply sucks. But there are some interesting encounters you'll get into as a result. Powerful and scary-ass mutants are a couple of the scenarios that you'll get into, especially this damn controller that had my number for a minute. We also get to meet a box that controls zombies and junk. I mean, some of the stuff they come up with is pretty creative. I don't want to really spoil too much about the story itself. There's a lot to like and plenty to dislike in my opinion, and I think I covered some of it pretty reasonably, but the game takes a significant twist a number of chapters later. It results in the end of Axe's story, and without going into real detail, it is a straight up pisser. That was the end of Axe's story? Are you kidding me? That was the end to Axe's story. He gets his best. What? Dude, and I had Axe. I had the Sega. Axe was yoked. I was forced into a scenario where you can do nothing, but with the gear I had, I could have absolutely torched everything. The end of Axe's story is just immensely frustrating, and it follows up with a new story involving a military stalker. You know, this takes a hell of a twist, but the interest of the new story is really dampened by my genuine frustration. But you do get to explore some interesting places as the military stalker. Yantar is wildly different, including the lab. And of course, even as a new player in the whole entire story, we do get knocked out again multiple times before we finally get to confront the main enemy. And this time, we get another character switch and we get to play as a scientist who's been involved with the story this whole time. Helps answer a couple questions that we have throughout our time playing the game. And while we got shafted 6 ways from Sunday with Axe, at the very end we do get to blow off some steam with the military stalker. You know, with the new maps, lots of wild encounters, the mod itself is still really fun and I would consider it worth a play. But it is not freeform like your anomaly type mods. A-Life is relatively limited. It's much more of a straight up story mod. But there's some, in my opinion, crummy decisions with the story alongside the considerable amount of scripted moments. So when it comes to the content category, I'm having a tough time kind of choosing my score here. It's between the 0 and the 1. So you know what? That's exactly where I'm gonna put it. So with scores like this, it ends True Stalker with an overall of a 69. Nice. You know, I feel actually pretty good about that score. The game is fun, no doubt. It was worth a play. It's entirely refreshed with a lot of pieces that are worth playing with, but there's plenty of detractions that can be made on its behalf. A score like 69, I think reflects exactly how I feel about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. That was my first one ever on the channel. I'll probably do more of these things as we play more stuff. I've always kind of wanted to do reviews. As you could tell, I had a whole freaking thing set up for it. At the very least, I hope this one was good, and I hope it gave you a good idea about True Stalker and whether or not you might want to play it. In any case, peace out, and I will catch you on the flip.